What's up, guys? I wanted to take a few minutes in this video to actually get a little more in depth on a couple of things when it comes to 1911s. Now, I had done a previous video where I had talked about done a comparison between expensive 1911s and those that are kind of more on the budget side, budget friendly side of 1911 world. And I know that there's a lot of folks out there that think that if you don't spend $3,000 or $4,000 on a 1911 that you're not going to get a good gun, and I can tell you that is absolutely not the case. Okay, you can get some very good 1911s at a very reasonable price. I've got a few of them out here on in front of you out here on the table, and I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about a couple of the differences in some of the ones that are a little more expensive compared to some of the ones that are a little more budget friendly. And yes, I know some people out there consider Kimber to be a budget gun, but Kimber makes a very good 1911. The fact that it is a classic design that a lot of manufacturers are copying. Okay, it is possibly the most copied handgun in the world. Now, the first thing that a lot of people look at when they talk about a 1911 is they want to know how accurate it is, how tight the slide it is to the frame, and that sort of thing. And the reality is, unless you are doing some extreme precision target shooting, you can have a lot of fun with virtually any of these out here that you see before me. Okay, now Kimber, of course, is a little I guess you could say more pricey than what these other three are. Of course, this is my Kimber Hero. Love this gun. I love all of them out here on the table. And this is a very nice gun. It was one that I got for Christmas, actually. So if you go back and check out the videos on it, you can learn a little bit more about it. Now, the Taurus PT1911 is another one that I've had for quite some time. There are some people that love the Taurus 1911s, and there are some people who do not. And the same can be said about virtually any firearm here that you see before you. My TSOS 1911 here, this one is the newest one to my collection. The carry model, all stainless, and it is a very fun gun to shoot. Okay, and of course, a classic is my Rock Island. Yep, a Rock Island 1911. This is one that I have had for quite some time, and I really enjoy shooting this firearm. It is just a great gun. As far as the accuracy goes with any of these, for anything that I do with them down on my range, as far as like pistol distances, the gun, they all perform fine. You've got to be realistic about your desires, your thoughts when it comes to a 1911. What is your intention for that firearm? Are you going to be using it to compete? Are you going to be using it just for some fun down at the range? Are you going to be using it for concealed carry? Yes, there's a lot of people out there that still carry a 1911. I know that there's some people that just absolutely, it is an abomination to them to even think about carrying anything other than a polymer gun. This gun has been around for too many years, this design, and it has shown many times over that it can be a very reliable gun. Now, admittedly, when you buy 1911, as I had talked about in previous videos, there is a break-in period for many of them before you could consider them to be reliable. All right, I would not take a 1911 straight out of the box and put it in a holster and carry it for self-defense. Okay, I would not do that. I would not do that with any gun. Okay, take it out, take it down to the range, spend some time with it with your defensive loads, with the magazines you're going to carry, to know that it's going to serve you when you need it. And if you're going to get into precision shooting, the tighter the fit, the slide to frame fit, and the bushing fit is a very critical element. And there again, this is going to go to a lot of your precision shooting. For the most part, for any of these out here, for what I do with them, I do not do a lot of what you would call precision shooting, although I do like to try to get as close as I can to the bullseye and be as accurate as possible with any of my guns. It's part of what I enjoy about shooting, spending time at my range with them. Now, a big element in the accuracy of that gun is going to be the slide to frame fit, the bushing fit, and that sort of thing. And just to give you an example of the differences between these two, I'm actually going to do something that a lot of guys out there I'm sure know about, and that is the shake test when it comes to a 1911. Okay, so I'm going to get my microphone down here just to where I can put it on a little closer to the gun to where you can hear this. First thing that we're going to pick up is going to be my Kimber, and I'm just going to give it a shake. Okay. You don't really hear any kind of rattling or anything with that gun. Let's go ahead and pick up my TSOS and do the same with it. Now you can hear just a little bit of rattling, but on that one. Now the next, let's go with the Rock Island and do the same. Okay, there's the Rock Island. And last but certainly not least, let's pick up the Taurus. Now you can certainly hear that of these guns out here on the table, that the Taurus is the one that had the most noise. You know, it was the one that rattled the most. There's some people that are going to be critical about that. However, I challenge you to go pick up one of those old Colts, an old military Colt, and you give that thing a shake, and I guarantee you that it's going to sound more like this Taurus than it is any of these others. Okay, those guns were run for decades. Okay, many of those guns were, and you know, they were in service literally from 1911 up until 1985. Those guns are a very reliable firearm, and part of that reason is because of those loose tolerances. Okay, tight is accurate, but loose is not going to necessarily bind up as easy. For example, if you are in a dirty environment, if you're in a situation to where you can get some buildup within the slide to frame, whether it is some contaminants from shooting itself or if it is just mud, dirt, that sort of thing, the tighter those tolerances are on that slide to frame fit, the easier it is for something to get in there and jam it up. I mean, it's going to take very little of something to get in there and be able to foul the action on that firearm. When you get something that's a little looser, while it might not be as accurate, it's going to take a whole lot more of debris or whatever to get in there on that slide to frame fit to cause that gun to fail. And I'm not going to be taking my guns out and throwing them in the dirt and that sort of thing like you see some guys doing. You know, if you've been around firearms for very long, one thing you know about them is they can be expensive. And I try to take care of mine and hope to be able to pass it down to my kids and grandkids. So, you know, I try to take care of them. And I know that there are guys out there that do. I'm sure you can find videos online of people torture testing these things. And that's one thing that you'll notice. You get some that are a very tight slide to frame fit compared to some that are very loose. And in a lot of cases, the ones that are a tight slide to frame fit are going to see more malfunctions. They're going to have, you know, a lot more malfunctions than one that is looser because of that. You get the same kind of contamination, that thing within the two. You'll see one that is looser run a little more reliably, I guess you could say. Similar to an AK-47, if you were to pick up an AK-47, those things rattle like crazy, okay, if you ever get your hands on one. 1911s, you know, don't look down on some of the more budget models. Okay, guys, if you've been a follower of my channel, you know that I have got some very nice guns within my collection. And I still will say that a budget model 1911, like what you see here, some of these are a great option. If you want to get into the 1911 world, don't turn your nose up at these. I would also suggest that you will need to expect to have a few hiccups with that gun when you first get it. Okay, that's something that you cannot ignore. All right, for some of you guys out there that want to beat up on 1911s and all that kind of thing, you know, that's your prerogative. You can have malfunctions in any gun. Okay, I have had malfunctions with Glocks, with SIGs, with a lot of other guns out there. And, you know, in 1911, you know, you have, if you do a lot of shooting, let's just put it this way, if you actually take your guns out to the range and you shoot them enough, you will have a malfunction, whether it is with a Glock, whether it is with a SIG, whether it is with a 1911. But guys, it's just a quick video that I wanted to do. Just a few thoughts out there that I wanted to share with you all. I know that I've been going through some of the comments on some of my 1911 videos, which I've got a whole playlist of that I'll try to leave a card to up in the corner. And it is just, there's a wide variety. There's some people that just hate 1911s, other people that just love 1911s. When you get your hands on them, when you shoot them regularly, if you enjoy shooting sports, if you enjoy firearms in general, you know, this is something that you just don't need to ignore. Okay, 1911, a good 1911 is something that is a treasured part of your collection or anyone's collection. But guys, this is a few thoughts that I had just for some of you guys out there that may be new in the 1911 community. And, you know, just a few thoughts. Just let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Love to hear from you. If you think that they're a bad gun, I'd love to know why. Okay? But guys, thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the videos on the channel, and we will see you next time.